Another day of work is in the books for the 49ers. Here at OTAs today, we saw the quarterbacks work on throwing it deep. A lot of play action concepts, airing the football out. Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, both heaved it. I would say that Darnold was probably more accurate than Trey Lance today, but both threw long touchdowns to Brandon Aiyuk, who was fired up after he hauled in those passes. On one of those, he ran the wrong route, but he still scored. Brandon Aiyuk was a star today at 49ers OTAs. Now, Trey Lance, there had been a false report coming out, many false reports coming out that he was getting all of the first team reps at 49ers practice. That isn't what Kyle Shanahan said would happen last week. Kyle Shanahan said that eventually Sam Darnold would split first team reps with Trey Lance, and lo and behold, Sam Darnold opened today's practice as the 49ers first team quarterback, and then he and Trey Lance split those first team reps over the course of this practice. Both of them had a chance to work with Brandon Aiyuk, who obviously is a first team wide receiver. Both of those guys had a chance to work with the 49ers first team offensive line, and Trey Lance had to start with a second team offensive line. 2 snaps from new center Nick Zakelj, second year man who's getting his first look at center, learning the position. 2 snaps from Nick Zakelj were fumbled. Didn't go well when Trey Lance was in there. But I mean, this is the time of the year where the 49ers are obviously trying to work out all of those kinks. But you know, it is worth mentioning that maybe you shouldn't listen to a lot of those false reports about Trey Lance running all the first team reps. Just listen to Kyle Shanahan. And if you'd listened to Kyle Shanahan last week, you'd know that Sam Darnold was going to be getting first team reps. And that's exactly what happened today. Other news, Drake Jackson, he is bulked up. I've already shared some video. You can check that out on the channel. But he's up to 265 pounds, up from 252 pounds. He's squatting 415. He's benching 315. So he's part of the 4-plate club in squats and part of the 3-plate club finally in bench press. Drake's dad, Dennis Jackson, was giving him a hard time for years that he wasn't in the 3-plate club on bench, but now at 315 he is. So that's the update on such a key piece for the 49ers defensive line. Brandon Aiyuk spoke today. He says that last year's 1,000-yard season was only the beginning, that he's really ready to take off. And Aiyuk made sure to compliment Ji'Ayir Brown, 49ers rookie safety out of Penn State, said that Ji'Ayir Brown already has 4 interceptions in OTAs and that he dropped a potential 5th one. So Ji'Ayir Brown was the only player in college football to come out of college football into this draft to have 10 interceptions over the past 2 years. Already has 4 and nearly 5 interceptions here in 49ers OTAs. That certainly is something. 49ers offense today, I should mention, a lot of drops. We talked about the fumbled snaps when Nick Zakelj was playing center, but Ronnie Bell had a couple drops today. Chris Conley had a drop. Deommodore Lenoir looked good. He was all over Ronnie Bell on one of those drops, but 49ers weren't particularly crisp when it came to catching the football. That being said, they were pushing that ball downfield. That's always fun to watch. And both Lance and Darnold did throw a long touchdown to Brandon Aiyuk. Deebo Samuel sighting today. He didn't participate in team drills, but he was there off running on the side. So he was at OTAs today, obviously. Difference from last year when Deebo Samuel was not at OTAs. He did report the mandatory minicamp while there was that drama surrounding his new contract. But Deebo around, no Elijah Mitchell on the practice field today. We'll check in on what's wrong with him a little bit later, or why he missed today's session. Not necessarily something wrong. Just OTA business with Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave still off-site. Neither of the 2 veterans was here today at OTAs. There'll be more next week, and even before then, tomorrow I'll be at this facility interviewing some of the 49ers assistant coaches. Today we had Brian Schneider and Chris Furster, and by the way, Furster, he had an update. He said that Colton McKivitz is the 49ers man at right tackle, and Spencer Burford is the man at right guard. Obviously, 2 new names as far as being unquestioned starters for the 49ers. Last year, Spencer Burford did not separate himself. Daniel Brunskill split time with him at that right guard position, and obviously McKivitz is taken over for Mike McGlinchey, who's now with Denver. But Furster brought both McKivitz and Spencer Burford into his office yesterday and told them, you guys Do not be looking over your shoulders. These are your positions. Now, obviously, if somebody outperforms you, we're going to revisit this, but Firster really thinks that Spencer Burford has made big progress since last year and that he's ready to be a full-time starter this season. Says it's a night and day difference between this year and last, and Burford was the weak link on that offensive line in 2022. And he also believes that Colton McKivitz, who, you know, he's seen his turnaround a lot sooner. Colton McKivitz saw his turnaround in 2021, but he thinks that Colton McKivitz won't be as good of a run blocker as Mike McGlinchey, but it's clear that the 49ers think that there is a potential pass blocking upgrade with Colton McKivitz, now the 49ers right tackle. All right, more soon. A lot of content up on the channel. Go ahead and check it out. I'm going to be talking more about Drake Jackson and a lot of other stuff a little bit later tonight. So this is your 49ers update from Open OTA session number 2.